So this is the next in the sessions from Bee Equipment. What we hope to do is show you some of the equipment that's available to, well, you may well be considering, during the course of this next few months while you're setting up for your season as a hobbyist. So the first thing we're going to start with is the Hive Tools, and then we can get rid of this and get down to some of the other things. So Hive Tools, as you can see, we have a seriously large array of Hive Tools, and basically all perform the same things. So we can probably, apart from the master tool of course, which is designed to grip tighter on the end of the frames when it's difficult. The original J tool style with the larger end, it's a useful tool, but it's not my preferred tool. This one, again, you use much the same as you do the others, so forcing against yourself this side, lay the tool in this way and force it forward is one method. The other one that people like to do is to put it down that way and lift it. But as you can see, as soon as you start to put this tool in, you have to push the frame away, and that's without seeing what's in there, and then you start to lift. Some think that's an advantage. Personally, I'm not. My favourite tool, which is this one, has a very sharp point. So when your frames are tight together and it's tight in the season, the gap between the end bar and your frame runner is perfect. You put that down, move it round, so you can put this down into the gap, and you lift it virtually straight, not rolling any bees. The purpose of all of these tools is that you don't roll the bees. This tool obviously has an added extra, which is the end piece. Useful for scraping off the tops of the frames before you put your queen excluders back on. This one is more of an ergonomic one. It's easier to handle, it's smaller, fits in most pockets of most bee suits. Does the same thing. We've got a lifter at one end, we've got a scraper end, a lifter at the other end. There's all sorts of ways of using these ones with the bent ends. The baby one, which is terrific for your pocket but easy to lose. But again, works really well with most hives. Lifts up nice and straight. But after lifting the frame as straight as possible, if you can't get the dummy board, which you should be putting in first, for some reason, and we need to go for frames rather than the dummy board, then these hook ones are brilliant. When it comes to this steppy one, again, does the same thing as the hook ones, lifts it up, take a middle one out easily enough. It's got a nice sharp end for cleaning off the tops. And then lastly, the one we're going to show you today is just the one with the rubber handle, nice and comfortable to use. Again, offers the same things as most of those do. Depends on the user and your style of beekeeping. And you'll develop your own style. Don't try and get somebody else's style and adapt it. I think we can dispatch with the box, put that to one side. Okay, so from the box, we're going to move on to gloves. There's an awful lot of different gloves. Some are designed for sensitive skin, some are just thin so they're easier to touch, some are really thick so that you have less chance of being stung when you enter in the hive and perhaps being a little bit clumsy. With all of these, you have the same kind of problem, which is keeping them clean. They don't wash very well because the leather, it sinks into the leather, but you can clean them in soda, which we'll come to in a minute. But my advice is to put a pair of surgical gloves, the white thin ones, over the top before every inspection, and then you should just peel them off as you finish each hive. The important thing is that you keep them clean between hives. So most people will have 2 hives, and before you go to your second hive, just clean them off. You don't know what diseases are in hives sometimes. Sometimes the spread is unavoidable. Some of these go further up your arm, have a vented piece in them, which is useful for keeping your hands clean and obviously cool at the same time. So I'm not going to do too much on it. So there must be 20 pairs of gloves, different styles of gloves. It's a question of finding the ones that suit you. The ones that suit us best is the nitrile. Unfortunately at the moment, very difficult to come by for obvious reasons. But with a nitrile glove, you have everything, every option. They're thin enough so that you can pick your queen up, mark her, put her in the tube. You can do almost anything with a nitrile glove on. Unfortunately, it's more difficult to do with the leather gloves on, particularly if you want to handle your bees. So when we're talking about handling the bees, we have choices. The choice for isolating your queen, use a marker cage, and this literally you would find the queen on your frame, push this in and hold her there while you did your other examinations and all your other frames is an option. When it comes to letting her out, you just lift the gate up. Two-handed job. Lift the gate up and let her free. That's the gate. The other one is the very popular one-handed catcher. Place the end over the queen. You can see, and on one side it has this this piece which then closes closes the bottom off. You can then place that on top of the hive, leave it there while you deal with your inspection. My favourite is the roller. It's got a plug on one end if you want to cap over. Find anything virtually to put in there, a cork or one of these caps which we sell in kits. Put that on first, find your queen on the frame, pick her off, drop her in the roller and add her to the top of the frame. So you'll know that I've said on 2 occasions, add her to the top of the frame. A lot of beekeepers believe that you should put that in your top pocket. The chances of you going home with it are pretty good. And if you've inspected maybe 4 or 5 different hives, there's a good chance you won't know what one it's come out of. If you put that on the top, after you've inspected your first couple of frames, she probably won't be on them. When you find her eventually, put her on the top of the frame. There's no way you can close that box up with that queen still being there. Then we move on to things that are just useful to have with you all the time. Marker pen, this year it's white. So if you're keen on marking your queen, as you should be, you can either use a cage to mark her in, or you can pick her up, mark her, put her in the roller to dry, which is a really good one, or you can use the one-handed queen catcher. The inside piece slides down. You can push it down gently, keep pushing it down gently as you see the distance closes up. Just keep pushing it down, and then eventually be patient, she will turn and you will be able to mark her, and that's without handling her. So that's really good, but you've still got to let it dry. The uncapping fork, there's several really good good uses, as well as uncapping a few drones to see what your grower counts are like. This will also uncap any stores that are difficult for the bees to consume. Maybe they're ivy or one of the other brassicas or something. Scratch them off with this, spray it with a little bit of water, and the bees will start taking it down much more successfully. The knife. You might think, why bother with a knife? Well, for me, uncapping suspicious cells is much easier with a knife. All you need to do is place it against the row of cells that you want to look at and scrape it down. And it also comes in very handy when you're queen rearing, because you're uncovering more of the eggs and making it much easier to get to. So let me go on to how to keep all this clean. Not difficult. Have a tub of water, something that the Hive Tools will all fit into, and soda. Soda's all you need. Sprinkle enough soda into the box, mix it up, and your Hive Tool literally lives in there. There's no need to take the thing out. Each time you take it out to use it, just give it a wipe and all the pollen and the propolis will just come off because the soda's soaked it off nicely. Invaluable. And don't forget the lid. You'll always need a lid on it. Bees love it. The next thing that you'll be considering is how to control your bees, maybe. So we at the beginning of the season prefer to use water. You only need a spray of water to convince the bees that it might be raining or something else. Any reason they're going down. You can spray bees down very easily with this, as you saw in the first part of these talks. That bees don't take a lot to control. The harder you go in at the beginning of the year, the more difficult your beekeeping will be as the year progresses. So start off with water. We add some of this, which is called Pro Health. It's got lots of different oils and minerals in it, and it just gives the bees something to lick off. And so we like to use a little bit of this in with our water. It adds a little bit of smell to it. It's got some interesting oils in it to make it smell pleasant, and the bees seem to like it. It calms them down, keeps them under control a bit easier. Then we come to the most difficult part, the smoker. And this really shouldn't be a hard lesson to learn. No matter whether you prefer a smoker that's got a dome top or a straight top, whether it's got a basket inside or it hasn't got a basket inside. The trick is to learn how to light the thing properly. So we light ours the same way as I have done for the last 20 years. Put newspaper in it first, light it, carry one of these, don't bother with matches, light it, break up some egg boxes. Egg boxes are probably one of those easiest things to come by, and they're both bee friendly. They've got no added extras to them, no glue, no stickiness about them at all. So break them up, put that on top of the newspaper, really get a roaring go at it, and then choose your material. A handful of these, wood pellets rather, will keep your smoker burning for a good hour or more, just that much. Good reliable fuel. So for me, running around the countryside looking for odd pieces of wood that don't have a defined burning period is a waste of time. Your smoker will always let you down when you want it to, so use something reliable. So I'm out here today, it's a beautiful sunny day. The bees are flying. One of the things they're really interested in is the lavender shavings. They don't have such a long burning life as the pellets do, but if you've got 2 colonies, pack it with this. The smell that comes off of it is just lovely, and the bees seem to be very calm about it. They seem to do quite well with it. If you're having trouble lighting your smoker, you can use these. These are quick start, almost like a fire lighter type, but without all the nasty paraffin stuff in it. They're really useful. If you want a more reliable way, the Hessian sack is quite good. You still need to put paper in to get it started, so put the newspaper in. That burns off, so there's no badness going into the colony when you're using newspaper. Just drop one of those in, take it out of the paper obviously, drop it in, close it up, and just keep going until the smoke becomes regular. We'll go into more of the smoker when we do the next inspections. We'll look more at the smoker. You may have noticed that the bellows on this one are plastic. That makes them easy to clean. The wooden bellows are much harder to clean. So if you've been in your hives and you do this, then whatever's in here is going onto your bellows. And people forget to clean their bellows. This is very cleanable. Plastic bellows are great. One of the other things you should probably look at investing in prior to the start of the season would be a nuke box. Corex nuke box. They're simple, relatively cheap, light to carry. If you've got problems in your hives and you've got this with you, you can generally sort out what you need to sort out using the two pieces of equipment. And everybody should have one of these really, in whatever size your colony is. National or 14, 12 and a Langstroth, they're all available. So the last thing, as the season starts, as you can see by our uploads, I think it was on Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, you'll see that swarm cells are already starting to appear. This is a glorious day. It must be about 15 degrees today. It's beautiful. So the swarm trap is another great advantage to have. These last years, believe it or not, they're made of paper mache type thing. You put them in the tree. I've had them put in the trees, I've seen them on videos, putting the trees in different ways. I've seen people that nail them to the trees like this. This is not going to end well, not for anybody. You cannot get that off the tree once it's nailed on like that. Your lid's got to stay there. Now there is a clue as to how this should go together. It doesn't take a lot of working out. In the roof, there's ribs. All you need to do is run a line of wax down each of the ribs. Put your pheromone to the side. Put it like that, and put it about 3 meters if you can get that high into a hedgerow. You'll see we've got windbreaks all around here. We would put these into there, and the bees will use the natural entrance. So that's basically the equipment that you might need. We then have suits. I've spent fortunes on suits over the years, and I'm sure you will if you're just starting out. You're going to spend money on suits. My favourite choice of suit is the jacket, the ventilated jacket. I suffer with the heat a lot, so I will often use just a ventilated jacket with a t-shirt underneath. It has 3 layers in all of fabric. The chances of getting stung, well, I've never been stung in this particular one, or these particular style rather. So they're very comfortable. They're a lot far more lightweight than they seem to be. They're not heavy at all. Once you've got them on, they're comfortable. Got lots of Velcro areas to make sure that you're safe. It zips up there nicely. You've got an overlapping zip, which is important because you want one zip to go past the other, so that when you zip up, there's an overlap on it. On this particular suit, we have pockets there. We've got a zip pocket at the top, and we've got another pocket, open pocket there. The zip pocket I use for the small things that I don't want to lose, which is the roller generally, or the pen. These are things that I just continually drop and misplace when I'm out. All these vented suits, from us at least, come with a useful tab across the top. And that's about it really. I mean, on this particular one, you can have a round head. I've never used one of those, but it does keep it further away from your nose if you are that concerned. When it comes to the plain cotton ones, which are the most basic and simple ones, again, really good suits. They have the crossover zips, exactly the same. Pockets. Not sure you can see this too well, but they have a stay across the top, which stops the hat folding down. And all in all, good value for money. And you have the same thing, but obviously in a suit. And then what very often is thought of as the best manufacturer in the UK, and I don't think that their reputation would be challenged. They sell a variety of suits, including made to measure. So if you're anything other than the normal, what they call the normal size, you may want to invest in a sheriff suit. Much more expensive, but you get what you pay for. The service, the backup service is tremendous. It's you post it off to them if you want repairs done. They'll do repairs. An excellent suit, and in many colours, as many colours as you can think of, in fabrics. Okay, I think that's it. Or as we say, job done. Thank you.